So now let's understand what is the theoretical approach to prove that the function is onto. So if we have a function from R to R, and the function is, let's say, x minus 3 upon, or rather let's start with a simple one and then we'll raise the level. F of x equal to 2x minus 3 is the function. We have to check whether it is onto. So for onto, the steps are, we'll start with assuming f of x as y, because f of x is also called as y. So we'll take y equal to 2x minus 3. Do you realize, Arush, in y equal to 2x minus 3, y is the subject.
Yes,
Subject
sir.
means y is on left, everything else is on right.
Yeah.
So now we have to convert this into a situation where x is the subject, like
Hmm.
x on one side and everything else on the other side.
Yeah.
So tell me, what will we get when we do that? We keep x on one side, take
X
everything else on other side.
x is equal to y plus 3 by 2.
Correct. Now you have to tell me, is there any value of y for which this function is not defined?
So for y minus 3.
अगर
No,
y
no, that
minus
would be
3 लिया, the
नहीं नहीं
answer will be
नहीं sir.
0, which is
0
defined.
0 is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so there is no value.
There is no value, because see, fraction can be
No
not
value.
defined only when denominator is 0.
Denominator is 0. Yeah.
और यहाँ पे तो ऐसा कभी होगा ही नहीं.
Yeah.
So this is always defined. So do you realize what does this mean? That for every y मतलब second set के सारे elements जो है आरुष,
Hmm.
उसके लिए एक एलिमेंट x में होगा. There will be some mapping from x, which means every element from the second set will be mapped.
Yes, sir.
So
So
this
sir,
is
अगर
onto.
y वाला not defined नहीं है तो it will be on to.
Then this is onto. एक काउंटर एग्जाम्पल
Yeah.
लेते हैं. लेट्स से इफ f फ्रॉम r to r, तो f of x इज इक्वल टू 1 अपॉन x लेते हैं. So we have y equal to 1 upon x. I'm making x the
Yes.
subject. So xy equal to 1, cross multiply कर दिया, x is 1 upon
X is
y.
equal.
Is there any
Yes, sir.
value of y for which x is not defined?
Yes, sir.
Which value?
0, sir.
So do you realize this means that for y equal to 0, x का आंसर नहीं आने
Hmm.
वाला है. विच मीन्स इन द सेकेंड सेट, y का जो सेट है उसमें जो 0 है, उस पर कोई एरो है ही नहीं, क्योंकि x का कोई वैल्यू ही नहीं है उसके लिए.
हाँ sir.
सो इट्स नॉट ऑन टू,
तो सर
क्योंकि
ऑन टू के लिए बेसिकली सिर्फ सॉरी सेट बी जो होता है उसके सारे जो
मैप्ड होने
एलिमेंट्स होते हैं
चाहिए,
मैप्ड होने
सारे
चाहिए.
एलिमेंट से
हाँ.
मैप्ड होने चाहिए. करेक्ट.
Yeah. ओके सर.
चलो, so now let us proceed to the other types of functions. The next is even function, odd function and even function. So even function is that function where the definition is f of minus x is equal to f of x. So f of minus x equal to f of x simply means that we will, when we replace x with minus x, we come back to the same function. Matlab,
Hmm.
for example, if we have f of x equal to x square.
Yes.
Now when we replace x with minus x, what will we get over here?
So that would not mean f of minus x wouldn't be x squared.
So it will be minus x the whole square, which is positive
Yeah.
x square, right? Which is positive
Yeah.
x
Yeah.
square. So it's
Yeah.
again equal to f of x, right? So we have come back to the
Yes.
original function. So this is an even function.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me some more examples of even function?
Sir, f of 2 is equal to 2 square, which is 4, and f of
अरे
minus 2 is
वैसे
equal to
नहीं,
2.
नंबर्स नहीं. जैसे
तो
एक्स
सर
स्क्वायर एक फंक्शन है, फिर एक्स रेज टू
हाँ
4 होगा, एक्स रेज टू
x raised
6
to
होगा.
4, x 6, x 8 वैसे
So x
even
raised to any
power वाले
even
सब.
number, basically even
Yes
power.
sir, even
and
power वाले.
and one more thing which you have to understand is, another possibility is, let's say, cos x. If we take cos x,
Hmm.
so if we replace x with minus x, this will be cos of minus x. And do you know this rule of trigonometry? Cos of minus theta is cos theta.
Yes sir.
like this will be cos x. So we come back to the original function.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, now one thing which you have to note is जो हम कुछ sums में use करेंगे, especially log related sums where we have even function and log. See, if I take this on the other side, what do we get? We get f of x minus of f of minus x equal to 0.
Yes, sir.
You will be using this rule mostly in those sums where we have to check whether it is even function and we have a log function. तो वहां पे हम ये यूज करने वाले हैं.
ठीक है सर.
नेक्स्ट ऑड फंक्शन पे आते हैं. सो ऑड फंक्शन इज सिंपली f of minus x equal to minus f of x. So for example, x cube, when we replace x with minus x, we get minus x the whole cube, which is minus x cube,
Yes, sir.
right? So over here, this is minus f of x. It's negative of f of x. Can you give me some more examples of odd function?
Sir, x raised to 5, x raised to 7. सारे odd power 1.
Correct. And trigonometry का कोई example?
So sine minus x is minus
Sine.
sine x.
Correct. So sin x is a good example. Acha, and over here, what can we note? If I take this on the other side, minus will become plus. So this time f of x plus f of minus x is 0.
Yes, sir.
Right. Write this.
Yeah, sir.
So now, Arush, we are going to raise the level. We are now taking those functions which are going to be very helpful, and अब level थोड़ा raise हो जाएगा. ठीक है? They will be slightly more detailed, more complicated, and they are important at the same time. And
Yeah.
how
So,
strong you are in functions will determine how good you will be with calculus. ठीक है? तो कैलकुलस में बहुत काम आने वाला है फंक्शंस हर एक पॉइंट पे, और फंक्शंस बहुत सारे चैप्टर्स में आएगा. तो अब थोड़ा डिटेल में हम डिस्कशन करेंगे, एंड इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स यू कैन आस्क. द फर्स्ट फंक्शन व्हिच आई एम टेकिंग इज मॉड्यूलस फंक्शन. So do you know the basics of modulus? Like, do you know that modulus of 2 is 2, modulus of minus 2 is also 2? Do you know this?
yes, yes, sir.
Okay, अब इसको फंक्शन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से डिस्कस करते हैं. सी द डेफिनेशन ऑफ मॉड्यूलस फंक्शन इज मॉड्यूलस ऑफ x is equal to x when x is greater than equal to 0, and it is equal to minus x when x is less than 0. This is the basic definition of modulus function. Did you already know this?
Yes, sir.
तो इसको थोड़ा डिटेल में समझते हैं. लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दिस. व्हाई इज दिस फंक्शन स्ट्रक्चर्ड इन दिस मैनर? See, when we take modulus of a positive number, so
Yeah.
mod of 2 means 2 is a positive number, right? So when we take modulus of a positive number, do you realize the answer is having the same sign? Like modulus के अंदर positive number है, modulus के बाहर positive number है.
Yeah, sir.
So they have the same sign, and when is that possible? They'll have the same
When,
sign when the number is positive.
yeah.
So that's exactly what we have written here. Modulus of x is x. So x is also positive, this x is positive, this x is also positive. And when is this possible? When the number itself is positive. Positive matlab greater than equal to 0.
Yeah, sir.
Now, the second thing. When we take modulus of a negative number, do you realize the sign changes?
Yes, sir.
अब यहाँ पे x less than 0 मतलब नेगेटिव नंबर की बात हो रही है,
हाँ.
तो साइन चेंज होना चाहिए. तो पॉजिटिव x का क्या होगा? नेगेटिव x. द साइन शुड
Yes,
चेंज.
sir.
सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज
Yes, sir.
स्ट्रक्चर्ड. अब इसका ग्राफ देखते हैं. So Arush, over here, mod x equal to x when x is positive. See, x
Yeah.
positive means we are talking about this region, x positive.
Yes, sir.
And in the positive region, what is the graph? mod x equal to x. So mod x
Yes, sir.
equal to x would mean we are talking about y equal to x. So y equal to
Hmm.
x होता है एक straight line passing through origin, and this angle is 45 degree. That is how we draw y equal to x.
Okay, sir.
And you can understand this with examples also. When you take the number 1, तो answer 1 आएगा. So first point is 1 comma 1. When you take the number 2, तो answer 2 आएगा. So it is 2 comma 2. When you take the number 3, it will be 3 comma 3. When you take 4, it will be 4 comma 4. Are you following this? 5 पे answer 5
Yes,
आएगा,
sir.
and so on. So it's going to be a straight line y equal to x.
Yes, sir.
And for the negative region, it's going to be a straight line in the negative direction, and equation hoga y equal to minus x.
Yeah.
Now also, let's note down the domain and range. Can you think and tell me what will be the domain over here, what will be the range over here for modulus function?
So range will be all real numbers and domain. Sorry, integers will be the range and domain. So I do.
See, domain means all the values of x. So
Yeah.
you have to tell me, is there
In
any
this
value of
example,
x? No, no, no. It's not about example. In general, for modulus
Acha.
function, you have to tell me, is there any value of x for which the modulus answer is going to be not defined?
No, sir. Nice,
So
sir.
if there is no value of x for which it is not defined, it means domain is all real numbers.
Yes, sir.
Coming to range,
Hmm.
take range matlab all possible answers. Now, do you realize the answers are always going to be positive?
Yeah.
So positive answers matlab, and the answers can be decimals also. You told me all integers or natural numbers something, but it
Sir,
can
it
be
can be
decimals
decimal.
also. Mod of
Yeah, yeah,
2.7 is
yeah.
2.7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So range is going to be 0 to infinity. Do you understand this interval method?
Yeah, sir.
So 0 to infinity means all real numbers, like it includes decimals also, starting from 0 up to infinity.
Yes, sir.
Write this with the figure.
So domain or range.
So see, after modulus function, or let's do one thing. Let us take one simple example before we wrap up with modulus function. One application which we will use in calculus. तो हम तभी वापस रिवाइज करेंगे, बट अभी थोड़ा देख लेते हैं. If I ask you to
हाँ, sir.
define modulus of x minus 2, Arush, like define this function mod of x minus 2. So we have to use this basic definition and define mod of x minus 2. So how can we define mod of x minus 2? See, basically, if you just look at it, यहाँ पे x था, but अब यहाँ पे x minus 2 है. So wherever
Yeah.
we have x, we will replace x with x minus 2. So mod
Yes,
of
sir.
x minus 2 is basically x minus 2 when x minus 2 is greater than equal to 0, and it is
Yeah.
minus of x minus 2 when x minus 2 is less than 0. That will be the
Yes, sir.
definition. And if we
Yeah.
modify this further, we can write this as answer is x minus 2 when x is greater than equal to 2, and it is 2 minus x when x is less than 2. Check this. Are you following
Yes, sir.
this?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, चलो. So now let us proceed to the next function, which is the greatest integer function. This is another important question from functions point of view, definitely, and even calculus point of view. We will be using this in calculus as well. Do you have any idea about it, the greatest integer function?
Yes, sir.
तो चलो उसको रिवाइज करते हैं. सो ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर फंक्शन का सिंबल होता है स्क्वायर ब्रैकेट्स. सो वी हैव ग्रेटेस्ट integer function. It's a square bracket x. So see, basically, if I ask you what is greatest integer function of 2.7, now first you have to tell me 2.7 is between which two numbers.
2 and 3.
So it's between 2 and 3. So 2.7 is between 2 and 3, Arush. So you have to always choose that integer which is the smaller one. So the answer is going to be 2.
2. Yeah.
इसका ना रीजन ये है, सी 2.7 जो है, कैन यू टेल मी how many integers are smaller than 2.7? Can you first tell me all the integers smaller than 2.7 and then tell me how many such integers will be there?
So 2.6, 2.5.
इंटीजर्स की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे.
Integers,
इंटीज
अच्छा. So 2,
इंटीजर्स.
1, 0, minus 2, 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 2.
तो ये चलते जाएगा इन्फिनिटी तक. देयर आर इनफाइनाइट सच integers
Yes,
possible.
so
Of
yeah.
all those infinite integers, which is the greatest one?
2.
So that is greatest integer function.
Okay, so yeah.
ठीक है. Similarly, if I ask you what is greatest integer function of 3.8, what will you tell me?
3.
Okay, now if I ask you what is greatest integer function of minus 3.2, what will you tell me?
So minus 2.
Minus 2. ये जो मिस्टेक है ना, ये सब लोग करते हैं.
Minus,
यू आर टेलिंग
minus 3.
minus
So
2.
minus
Minus
3,
3
minus.
is also actually wrong. I'll tell you why. See, where is minus 3.2 on the number line? So minus 3.2 will be somewhere over here.
Yeah.
We want the integers which are smaller than this, Arush. Smaller than this.
Acha.
So answer is actually minus 4.
Yes. Yes, sir.
ठीक है. All right.
हाँ.
तो ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर फंक्शन का ऐसा कोई फॉर्मल डेफिनेशन नहीं है. इसका ग्राफ समझते हैं, बिकॉज द आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी डिफरेंट फॉर ऑल. सी इफ इट इज बिटवीन 0 एंड 1, if x is between 0 and 1, the answer is going to be 0. Like if I ask you greatest integer function of 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 up to 0.9, the answer is going to be 0.
Yes, sir.
If it is between, let's say, 1 and 2, then what will be the answer?
So
1
1,
और 2 के बीच में है तो 1. If it is between 2 and 3,
then 2,
3 and 4,
3.
so this will be the graph. Are you following this?
Yes, sir.
Achha, this graph is also called as step function.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
हाँ, sir.
Yeah, that's pretty much about it. अच्छा, इसका डोमेन और रेंज बता दो. चलो, what is the domain? Is there any value
So
of x for which greatest integer function
domain.
will be not defined?
No, sir. So
So
domain
all
will
real
be all
numbers.
real numbers. Yeah. Range will be
Range
integers.
integers. Excellent. Chalo, make this graph. Write this.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The next function that we have, Arush, is fractional part of x. Fractional part of x जो है आरुष, उसका symbol है ऐसा curly brackets. The fractional part of x is given by x minus greatest integer function of x. That is the formula.
Sir, if you are writing something, I
Yeah.
can't see.
Now you can
हाँ
see.
अभी दिख रहा
So fractional
है. Yeah,
part
sir.
of x is x minus greatest integer function of x. So Arush,
Okay.
example लेते हैं. If I ask you what is fractional part of 2.7, so it will be
Hmm.
2.7 minus greatest integer function of 2.7.
So
Chalo, what
0.7.
is, so greatest integer function of 2.7 is 2, so this is 0.7. So do you realize, like, fractional part simply means the decimal part, because you have to understand it is a fraction because of that decimal value, and here the
Yes,
decimal is
sir.
0.7, right? In this original number, the decimal is 0.7.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, अब एक नेगेटिव का एग्जांपल लेते हैं. इफ आई आस्क यू फ्रैक्शनल पार्ट ऑफ minus 3.4, so what do you think? Can you just tell me orally by just looking at the number what will be the fractional part without solving it using the formula?
So minus 0.4.
Minus 0.4 ऐसा लगता है सबको, जो गलत है. अब जरा चेक करते हैं कि क्या हो
Point.
रहा है यहाँ पे. नहीं नहीं, देखते देखते. सो वी हैव minus 3.4 minus greatest integer function of minus 3.4. Now what is greatest integer function of minus 3.4?
Oh, so this will be 0.6
So this is
minus
minus 4.
0.6.
So this is minus
Yes.
3.4 plus 4, which is 0.6. For negative numbers, what we actually do is we take the decimal value, over here it's zero point 0.4, and subtract it from 1. That is the trick for negative
Yes, sir.
values.
Yes.
Now, can you tell me the domain and range, Arush? What is the domain? Like, is there any value of x for which the answer is not defined?
No, sir.
No. So the domain is going to be all real numbers. And what will be the range? Can you interpret the range from these two answers? Did you understand the answers will always be decimals,
Yeah,
which means the answer is always going to be between 0 and 1,
one. Yes, sir.
and it will be 0. It can be 0, but it will never be 1. So it's going to be 0 and 1, where 0 can
Yes.
be the answer, 1 will never be the answer. And 0
Yes,
कब
sir.
होगा आंसर? 0 आंसर तब होगा
Ch-
जब फ्रैक्शनल पार्ट ऑफ इंटीजर्स होगा.
hmm.
अच्छा, इसका
So
ग्राफ
three
अभी देख.
point.
नहीं,
So
3 पॉइंट नहीं है. अगर
3.0 में.
फ्रैक्शनल पार्ट ऑफ 2 है. अच्छा, 3.0 बोल रहा है तो हाँ ठीक है.
हाँ.
So this is going to be 0.
Yes.
Okay, iska graph, Arush, see, from 0 and 1, when we take any number between 0 and 1, the answer is going to be between 0 and 1, and it's not 1, so I've
Yeah.
used open circle there, close circle at 0. From 1 and 2, answers will be again between 0 and 1. See, answer will be between 0 and 1 means y ka value will always be between 0 and 1. It will never
Yes,
exceed
sir.
1. It will never be less than 0. ये
Yes, sir.
ग्राफ समझा? Did you understand this graph?
हाँ.
चलो, make this. So now, Arush, let us start with the trigonometry functions.
Yes, sir.
We'll go through all the 6 trigonometry functions and their graph. ये फिलहाल इस चैप्टर में इतना important नहीं है, but because we are doing functions, so we'll take it. Trigo में इसका ज़्यादा application है. So when we take Trigo, we can run through
So
that.
ट्रिगो 12th में भी है क्या? जेई के.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
एंड उसके लिए 11th का भी पता होना चाहिए.
Obviously.
तो
And
सर 11th
11th
का कब करेंगे?
and 11th का Trigo तो बहुत जगह पे आएगा, मतलब बहुत जगह पे यूज
तो
होगा.
सर कब करेंगे हम लोग को?
एक के बाद एक करेंगे. Let us complete functions first. So
या.
let's discuss the graph of sine x. So we have 0. I'm just making few numbers here. So we have 30, so that we understand the pattern. We have 60. We have, check, I forgot 45. We have 60. We have 90. Or let's do one thing. Let me just take 90, 180. तो pattern समझ में आ जाएगा. 90, 180, 270 minus 360 and so on. This is minus 90, minus 180, minus 270, minus 360. Now, do you know this, that the maximum value of sine theta is always 1? The minimum value
या.
is minus 1.
यस सर. सर ये
चलो,
पता है,
so
लॉजिक नहीं पता बट इसका.
logic तो मतलब ऐसा है कि, like, I'll not get into details, but if you remember the 9th standard angle table, the trigonometry standard
हम्म.
angle table, in that the highest value of sin x was always 1, sin 90 is 1.
हम्म.
The lowest
हम्म.
value will always be the opposite, like negative of it, so minus 1. It's always between
हम्म.
minus 1 and 1. It will never exceed
यस.
1, it will never be less than minus 1.
या.
So what is sin 90? So sin 90 is 1.
यस.
What is sine of 0? Sine of 0 is 0.
0.
Do you know sine of 180 is also 0?
ओके.
Sine of 270 is minus 1. Do you know this?
माइनस. या.
Sine of 360 will be 0. So if you look at the pattern, तो इसका graph कुछ ऐसा है. It's basically a curve.
हम्म.
So this is the sine curve. And same in negative direction.
यस सर.
This is the graph of sine.
यस सर.
अच्छा, इसका डोमेन और रेंज क्या होगा? Or let's do one thing. You just write this much. मेक द फिगर, ट्रिगो का है ना डोमेन रेंज का एक अलग टेबल बना देंगे हम, विल मेक अ सेपरेट टेबल वेयर वी हैव ऑल द सिक्स टुगेदर.
ठीक है सर.
Next we have to take cos. Shall I erase this?
एक सेकंड सर.
So next for cos, cos has a very similar curve, but there's a slight twist. So what is cos of 0?
वन सर.
So if cos of 0 is 1, तो 0 पे यहाँ पे आएगा 1. Cos 90 होता है 0.
जीरो.
Cos 180 is minus 1. 270 is 0. And 360 will be 1.
वन.
So it's a curve, but it's a ulta thoda. So this is the cos curve. Make this.
या.
Chalo, next we have to understand tan x. I'll just tweak this a bit so that we understand the pattern of tan x. Let's take 45 also this time into consideration, 90 as well, 135, 180. This is minus 45, minus 90, minus 135, minus 180. So, Arush, do you know what is tan 45?
वन.
अच्छा, 1 को मैं थोड़ा नीचे बना देता हूँ इस बार, बिकॉज tan का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू 1 नहीं होता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. So I'm taking 1 and minus 1 here. Chalo, tan 45 is 1. Tan 0 is 0, correct? So tan of 0
या.
is 0. Tan 45 is 1. Then tan minus 45 will be minus 1. So the thing is, Arush, कि tan 90 not defined होता है. Do you know that? Tan 90
या.
is not defined. So
या.
at 90 degree, I am making a straight line parallel to y-axis. And I'll make a similar line at 180. I'll make a similar line at minus 90. I'll make a similar line at minus 180. What you have to understand is, Arush, कि tan का जो graph है, it's a curve like this, which will never meet these pink lines, क्योंकि tan 90 not defined, which means there's no value of tan 90. So it's not going to meet any, it will just keep on increasing till infinity. It will not meet the line x equal to 90. सेम tan 135 0 होता है, फिर ऐसा ये इंफिनिटी तक चलते जाएगा. इट विल नॉट मीट दैट पिंक लाइन.
यस
सो
सर.
दीज आर द tan कर्व्स. ऐसा इंफिनिटी तक जाएगा ये. इट विल नेवर मीट दीज पिंक लाइंस.
हाँ
ठीक
सर.
है, आर यू क्लियर विद
हाँ.
दिस?
या.
डन, शैल वी प्रोसीड?
एक सेकंड सर.
और ये ऐसा सिमेट्रिक नहीं दिख रहा है बिकॉज I have taken the intervals in such a way. Actually, this is symmetric. I have not taken all the values, इसलिए ऐसा लग रहा है ये. But otherwise, it is symmetric.
ओ. ओके सर.
तुझे ऐसा लग रहा होगा कि minus 90 और 90 के बीच में बहुत ज़्यादा गैप है और बाकी में कम गैप है, because I have not taken all the values.
हाँ.
Done. Shall we take cot?
यस सर.
So cot of which angle is not defined?
Just cot 90 is not defined.
Tan 90 is not
Sorry.
defined, Arush.
Cot
Cot
45
0
is
is
not.
not defined. Cot 0
The
is not
zero
defined.
था. अच्छा
जीरो
हाँ
इज नॉट
सॉरी।
डिफाइंड.
या
सो डू यू रियलाइज जीरो मतलब ये अपना दिस इज जीरो. फिर नेक्स्ट होगा 180 पे, लाइक कॉट 180 विल बी नॉट डिफाइंड. नेक्स्ट होगा कॉट माइनस 180 पे, दैट विल बी नॉट डिफाइंड.
हम्म
अच्छा, कॉट ऑफ 45 इज 1, कॉट ऑफ 90 इज
हम्म
0.
या
तो ये ऐसे जाएगा, लाइक 45 पे 1 मतलब यहाँ से पास करेगा, 90 पे 0, 135 पे -1 एंड इट विल गो टिल इन्फिनिटी. सो इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू मीट दीज पिंक लाइंस जहाँ पे नॉट डिफाइंड है.
हाँ
ठीक है. सेम ओवर हियर. सी कॉड ऑफ -45 इज -1, 90 पे आएगा 0 एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी समथिंग लाइक दिस.
यस सर.